Thing is though, like, you almost want, because on that Sunday, like, it's like, right, I get all my stuff done in the morning. Like, I had a setup. I had a couple of check-ins that I still need to do from the day before that I checked in late. I had
you didn't get back to because you're a shit coach.
Yeah, all right. That's you, mate. I'm fucking class. My routine at the minute is elite. Like, obviously I'm prepping, so it's better than it's ever been.
So, all right, don't need to be so forceful, mate. I never said your routine was bad.
No, but it's like, I feel, because I'm...
My routine's
like,
elite, Reece. Trust me. I'm not saying it's not.
No, but when you're, like, so productive, like, I had 15 check. This is what I've said to you when I got here. I got here, and you were like, oh, I've been working. And I've had to train. And then I got here, you hadn't done anything. You hadn't set anything up.
Mate, that's not anything
and
about
I
me.
You wouldn't have.
And objectively, like I said to you before, if we were to go blow for blow, I'm probably busier. So I'm not throwing that out you. I'm just...
I don't know, mate. You have 2 rest days in a row.
Yeah, I know, it's needed. I'm way more popular. That's what it is, man. I've got way more applications. I've had more applications probably in the last 2 days than you've had check-ins. I'm taking the piss. No, I've had a lot though. Like today, I think I've done like 4. Yesterday, I think I've had double figures applications over the weekend. More
efficient with your applications.
Yeah, but see, I just got a good percentage of people that turn over. You know. Yeah, but I don't know. If you can go to the cinema last night, clearly not.
Mate, what have you been doing? You've been sat having coffee, sitting doing fuck all today, and then I get here and I've got to set everything up, even though I'm prepping and I'm training.
Oh, you're prepping. It's like, okay, fair enough.
In all seriousness, though,
yeah, no, you do
start fucking pulling your weight with the podcast, because I have to come in and set it all up. And I have to do the camera. I have to do everything.
Brought the chairs.
Well done, you brought the chairs.
No, the chairs through. It's not. I can't. This is the thing, and you said this.
You can.
I legitimately can't do a thing until you get here. You do the camera. The lights.
I don't have to.
No.
The camera's already here.
No, the camera literally. You're the one who I tried to, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I'll sort it." The laptop is your laptop. It doesn't connect. The microphones don't connect to my Mac.
No, but if I was to come in,
if I was to try and set this up, the
camera was set up and the lights were set up and the chairs were here, I'd be like, right, sound. I'll just set this up and ready.
No, but that's going to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's not like I've not literally, if you were to look, I was eating a meal. It's not like I came back and was like, oh yeah, I'm doing nothing.
So.
You know, it's fine. But at the same time, we both pull our weight evenly in the sense of how things are. You're better. You're better at setting up, 100%. But that's because you're more particular with the lighting and angles. Definitely.
We do not pull that the same weight with this podcast. No chance in a million years. I post all the reels. I do all the communication with Sam.
Oh, no.
I set all the podcast up.
What do you mean communication with Sam? Like send the stuff through?
I have to. Yeah, and it's a ball ache.
That's because of Wi-Fi. There's reasons.
No, it's not.
When we were doing it, it was Wi-Fi. Guys, this is just bickering, isn't it? This
Sam, you can cut this out if you want.
Yeah, definitely. This is awful. But yeah, that's bickering. I think we should just move on, if I'm honest. Right, how's your week been?
It's been alright, mate. Until now.
Yeah,
no, it's been sound. I was new low body weight, 171.
Still not sub 170 though.
I don't need to be yet.
No. So what, 171? You're up at 175 after the refeed. We spoke about the refeed, I'm pretty sure, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't need to go into the refeed again because that was last Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
And we spoke on Thursday.
Yeah.
Body weight jumped up by like 4 pounds in total, I think. No. 173 was my lowest before the refeed. I think 176.75, so 3 3/4 pounds after 2 days, which is more than I need it to be. But it was fine, and then like a few days later I was back down to a new low, 171. When I was the same as that again today. But I reckon I'll probably see 160s by the back end of this week or start of next week. But I feel so much better, like so much better. Like the refeed was definitely needed. I felt awful before it. Like 2 or 3 days before it, I was like, oh my God, I feel horrendous. And then like on the refeed and over the refeed, I felt pretty good. And then after, I felt good. Like my steps have gone up. I was doing 13,000 steps, now I'm doing 15,000 just because I feel fine. Like I think I'm quite in tune with my body now. Like, obviously, if I was to compare to how I felt 3 months ago, I feel shit. But like for how I felt just before the refeed, I feel 100 times better. So it's like I can tell when I need to probably take my foot off the gas a little bit, when I need to have a bit more food. And I feel like I'm in a good spot and tune with like exactly how I'm feeling at certain points. And that's what I was saying in terms of my routine. Like my routine at the minute is like, obviously it's always good anyway. Like we spoke about this when Josh was on, didn't we? I think was it Josh or Kez? I think it was Josh. We were saying like routine, is it more important when you diet or when you gain it?
Yeah.
Like, obviously my routine's good all the time anyway, but like to be like today, I think I'd done 15 check-ins by midday. I'd done 10,000 steps. I'd done my 35 minutes cardio. I'd prepped all my meals because I was coming here. Yeah. And I was like, you just feel good, don't you? Yeah. Because you feel really productive and your meals don't take long to eat. Your digestion's really good, really efficient. So yeah, I'm feeling good. And even like I almost use it as, it's like the carrot on a stick kind of thing with the horse. You know, that analogy.
Donkey? Horse?
Yeah, same thing, isn't it?
Horse, donkey. What is it, guys? Do you know?
People know what I'm on about.
Yeah.
It's like dangling a carrot and like
in front of
them, and they're constantly trying to get it. So it's like you constantly have something to be working towards. And I kind of feel like I always kind of have those kind of things anyway, but especially at the minute, especially with food, especially with hunger, like when your appetite's high, if I know I've got X amount of check-ins to do before I get to have my next meal, basically, it like makes me more efficient with work.
Yeah.
So like I basically have meal one, then I do all my check-ins, then I have my next meal. So I think I did my check-ins from like 8 a.m. until pretty much midday. So I eat just before 8, then I eat at midday.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'll go and train. So it's like having that kind of goal makes me a lot more
fair enough.
efficient.
I've never done that. Like
it's like really helpful.
I'd always just have my meals like how I had my prep set up was I'd wake up, I'd do cardio, I'd do steps, I'd split the steps up, I'd do some outside, and then I'd do them on the treadmill and work. I'd then have my first meal at like 9:30, and then I'd do like 3 hours worth of work after that, and then that was about 12:30, and then I'd be done with check-ins.
That's pretty much what mine's like, but I just make sure I can get all those check-ins done in that stint. So
I like doing a bit of work fasted, and I never because I'm
never
do
work, but
hungry.
I don't do check-ins when I'm fasted.
Yeah,
I listen
do
to check-ins. I make all my notes.
Yeah,
I do all my Instagram posts. Like I do
even on my rest days now.
In the morning.
I don't eat my first meal till like 10:30, 11. Yeah. Like I push my first meal back because I never wake up and think, oh my god, I'm so eager for food. I just think, okay, cool. I like to crack on with my work, and like once I get my cardio done and my steps done again, I must have that as like a bit of an appetite suppressant. So I'm like, yeah, sound. But even now, like my routine's not changed
hungry for my first meal, to be fair, but I just like having it at the set time. And like I say, like when I'm on my walk doing my cardio, then on my treadmill walk, I'm working all the way through all that, but I'm not doing check-ins. So I'm like doing voice notes, getting back to training clips, doing all my Instagram posts. Like that's how I do. It's a good routine at the minute. And obviously, again, like I say, it was the same in off season, but you're just not having to do as much expenditure. Yeah. And your food takes a lot longer to eat, so you're a bit more sluggish, a bit slower.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to come with that premise. You know, people go, oh, I feel better now than I did in off season.
You don't.
You don't.
No,
like,
that's
you just
such
think
a lie.
that you do because you've got a bit more time. And you're a bit more like efficient because, again, your digestion's a lot quicker. Yeah, your body's lighter, so things are like it's easier to move about to an extent, unless you're pretty trash. But yeah, like I still definitely felt better eating a lot more food.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think that's the case. It's not even probably eating more food, it's just having more body fat on you. You know, that's the reason why you feel better or feel worse.
Yeah, also eating more food as well, though. Like, I've obviously, like, with clients that are on, like, the peak off-season food, 800, 900 carbs, and, like, it's just the norm for them. And, like, for me now, I'm thinking, like, Jesus, that's a lot of food.
Yeah, you do.
I was having that for months.
Your mind warps to, like, that's one thing that, like, I've found, like, my mind warps to, like, what your perception of, like, high food is and low food. And then, but then also food like sources change. Like if we were to imagine when we had our food at our highest points, there was probably a lot of like, let's say carbohydrates and like jam and stuff like that. And we had probably like, let's say 50 grams of carbs in our intro, which you wouldn't even think about now. And it's like just easy food sources.
75 at some point.
Yeah, like literally, I probably worked out. I think I remember looking. I had like 100 grams of carbs through just like jam and like honey in like my training day, like pre and post workout.
I have honey on my chicken meal.
Yeah, and it was like easy.
Nice,
and like now I'd be thinking, Jesus Christ! Like I to be fair, it's quite weird. Other than still being pretty battered and still being like very lean, it's actually quite nice because my food isn't really high. My food isn't really low. My cardio is the same.
Pretty soon,
yeah. My cardio isn't like my cardio is consistent. My steps are consistent. My routine's literally like the exact same.
Cardio and steps.
Pretty much the exact same, like as what I've always done. 30 minutes per day. I don't do it on my leg days, so that's 2 days per week, so only 5 sessions. But at the same time, it more so I modulate it based off how my legs feel. So like if I wake up and I'm like, oh, my legs are fine. Like for example, I did cardio on my Friday leg day because my legs felt pretty sound. And then to be fair, my legs feel alright today, so I'll probably do cardio tomorrow. But it just depends on how I feel. And then steps are, I say 10 to 12k, but my actual average this month's higher than last month. So it's like 12 and a bit.
You've got more food in and you're doing more stuff.
Not even more food, just like I just
but
my routine.
Like when your food goes up, your expenditure's gonna go up anyway.
I just think it's more like I could easily pull my steps down, but it's more so like I just like going for walks. Like it's like,
but if you think about when you were feeling horrendous, you weren't loving going for walks. Or
no, but my
doing
steps
stuff
were so much higher that if they were coming down, it was like at that point they were like 18 to 20k. You know, so Like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a weird one when it comes to obviously expenditure. But I've never really noticed like, oh, I get more food, I move around more, because I didn't really ever like, I never really went for walks and went, oh my god, that was hard. I actually, even towards the end, quite liked going outside.
Walks aren't challenging. It's getting up. If you're sat down and you're getting up to go on a walk, that getting up where it's like, oh, it just feels a bit, but it's not difficult. You just can tell when you get up, you can tell you're a bit battered.
Yeah.
But then when you're walking, you feel sound. Like,
yeah. The only thing I struggled with was talking on the treadmill while walking. That was one thing that towards the end, it was like, it's getting a bit more challenging. Like,
but, you know, I think like if you don't do it, that's worse.
What do you mean?
So like with my work, it's the same thing. Like if it's like sometimes I'm I just want to like stick on a podcast when I'm driving home. But then in my head I'm thinking, well, I can't, because if I do that and I don't do the work, then I'm going to be behind on the work, which in the long term is going to cause me more stress anyway. Yeah. So I'm just going to do it. Yeah. You know, it's like, that's how I think. Same with like sometimes in the morning, like you say, I'll think, oh, I could just get back to these voice notes later. Yeah. But then I think, but if I get back to them later, then I'm going to have more, and it's just going to be more work. It's just going to be a backlog, and it's going to stress me out. So I'll just do it, and then you get it done, and you think, oh, I feel better for that. Yeah, like, it's always the same.
Yeah, definitely. Like today was literally that. I had like an application come through. Like I'd already planned out my morning, and I was like, right, time this, time that, and I knew I was meeting Sanaya at 2, so I was like, I've got about like maybe 6-7 hours, and I was like, I'll be able to get all that done. And then 2 applications came in literally before 9, and I was like, great. So I was thinking in my head, right, Rotherham tomorrow. I'm packing for the holiday tomorrow night. I've got to get all my food sorted. I can't get back to them tomorrow. Wednesday I'm leaving. So I was like, I've got to get them done today. And I was like, I could do them this evening, but I've already planned to get packed again for like Skegness and then packed for Lanzarote tomorrow. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to have to do them now. And I was like, but then maybe I could do them this evening and squeeze them. But I was like, but then I'm going to have, and it was almost like a case of just, and I thought to myself, instead of stopping and actually thinking, I just thought, I'm just going to do them now.
Just do them, yeah. But you really should just record a video that covers the entire service, send that, have that for everybody, and then you still send a personal one. That's what I do. So like then the personal one doesn't have to be 15 minutes. No. It can be 5 minutes.
No, they don't get 15 minutes. Guys don't get 15 minutes. They get like 6 of you just go in, sign up, bro.
Yeah, see though, like my like old ones, when I do it personalised for everybody, that would take like 15 minutes at a time, because I'd want to go through the whole service and go through their application. Whereas now I have a video that's like 12 minutes, I think, that goes through the entire service. Yeah. And then I send them a 5-minute personalised one if they like the look of that, you know what I mean? And then that goes through the cost of coaching. It goes through, I get them to send photos then and stuff like that. So I just find it's so much more efficient. Because like I say, if you've got a busy day on, you get 3 applications come through, which can happen. Yeah. It's then like, well, that's an extra hour plus of my time.
Usually it would be a case where I'd be like, I'll just get back to them tomorrow. Or like I'll drop them a message and say, right, maybe Wednesday. But it's just because obviously I'm going away. And it's always funny. Like I always find whenever you've got something coming up, you're like, there's always going to be a little bit more of a, like, there's always, I feel like whenever you've got something that you're like, I'm out of the office for X period of time, you do need to get ahead. So like, for example, today's setup that I got through, that was, ideally, I would have probably got him set up on Wednesday or Thursday, but he'd already got everything over. So I was like, well, I need to get you set up ideally today.
Well, you can get a lot of work done when you're travelling. Like when we went to Northern Ireland, like.
I'm driving though, that's the issue. So
still. I mean, you can get back to a lot of work, like in terms of voice notes, and you can stay on top of your normal work. Like you can do check-ins in the airport. Yeah. Like it is manageable. Yeah, it's just that you don't get to just switch off really. Yeah. But then unless you say, right, I'm going to actually switch off.
Yeah, but then you run the risk of Loom being horrendous when it comes to 3G and losing out on check-ins.
Yeah, it is annoying, isn't it?
Did you ever lose those check-ins? You know, that you did...
Yeah, last time I had to do 7 again.
That's brutal.
I did 9 that Saturday morning on your show day, and only 2 of them worked. So I had to do the 7 the day after before your show day again.
Hear this is quite funny. So I lost a client's check-in last week. And he'd like checked in late, so it's like I said to him, "It's your own fault, bro. Like if you got over to me, I would have been not able to like cram you in." Yeah. So I pretty much sorted out like this guy's check-in. Like I sent it through to him. It was like it was late because I crammed it in, and it hadn't uploaded. Like it was like proper slow. And he messaged me that night saying, "I can't watch it, mate." And I was like, "Oh, if it doesn't work in the morning, I'll redo it." Didn't work in the morning. I'd left my laptop on all night, so I was like, "It's not uploading." So I did it again, and then I checked like yesterday. Just like, because I said to him, like, I did his next check-in, and I showed him the check-in. I was like, look, mate, like, it was and it uploaded. So I was like, right, mate, you're getting 2 check-ins. So I sent him through his previous check-in and his newest check-in. But because he checked in like a few days late, it was still pretty relevant. So I was like, check-in overload, bro. Here's last week's that should have sent, and here's this one. So
I had this week on Friday, so Will Bertolini's check-in. he watched them straight away usually. So he messaged me within like 30 seconds saying, "I can't hear it, bro." And I went back and the mic just hadn't worked. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know why." Like, I've had that a couple of times, but usually Loom comes up and tells me straight away. It's like there's something wrong with your video, and it usually means that the mic's not working. So I've had Will, to be fair, messaged me before and said the same thing, but it was on his end. He just didn't have the volume on. Yeah. But this time it was on my end. So I was like, thank you for letting me know, because I had like 2 or 3 more to do. So it'd have been like the same issue probably. So luckily he let me know. And I messaged him back, I just put, fuck's sake. I was like, that's a really good check-in as well. Because we're looking at back like, he's in 100 weeks, he's the same body weight. He's 200 pounds versus 200 pounds.
So he's made
not 100 weeks.
He's made no progress.
A year later. No, mate, you should see the progress. I've got a post coming soon.
No progress.
So in a year's time, he's the same body weight. But like obviously he has made a lot of progress. I'm going to post it soon. I think I'm posting it like Wednesday or Thursday. It'll be out by the time this is out. So yeah, I was like, fuck's sake, that was really good. Obviously I have quite a close relationship with Will, so and he put, don't worry, don't do it again. You don't need to do it again. I put something like, what the fuck do you think this service is? Of course I'm doing it again. Yeah. And I did it again like 10 minutes later, because I'd already started the next check-in. I was like halfway through prepping it. So I did the next check-in, then I did Will's again. But I said to him, oh, sorry mate, that was really good as well. I was like, so I'm just going to go through it again, but this will probably be a bit faster. So
and
like, the
probably,
first one was like
a bit worse,
8 minutes, and this one's like 6 minutes.
It's always worse though whenever you have to redo them, in the sense of
because you feel like you're repeating yourself.
And like, especially when you've done a check-in that you're like, some check-ins you're like, yeah, that's a good check-in. They're going to enjoy that, you know. And they don't reply. You send it through, they don't even reply.
No, you do have those check-ins where you like, it just felt like that was a really good check-in in terms of either it was a really positive week, or it was like a good comparison of like, again, like that for example. It's not often that you get that you're the same body weight X amount of time later. It turns out it was exactly a year later. Yeah. And like now we can compare. Like it's rare that happens. So yeah, it was a bit of an annoyance, but then obviously we sorted it, so it was fine.